Well, what's going on, Facebook family? It's your main man, Joe Dupree, along with Edward J. Brown on this Wednesday, as we always do. About this time, it's Wellness Wednesday. So it's time for us to let you know that your mental health matters. It's okay not to be
To
okay.
not be
My
okay.
brother, Edward J. Brown, how you doing, my friend?
It's good, man. I got, we don't get a chance to talk because we came in late today, but I'm gonna switch things up today. I had somebody who has been watching the podcast for a while tell me today, why y'all always so serious? I said, what you
Oh,
mean?
Lord.
She said, yeah, won't y'all lighten it up on one? I said, okay, well, I'll shoot that past my brother and see what he says. So
I
I
didn't
was
know we were
thinking as
that
I was
serious.
driving. Yeah, I didn't think we were either. So I said, well, we're gonna kind of steal an idea and maybe do a little wild out Wednesday today. And
Okay.
because we I didn't think we was that heavy, but
I didn't
obviously
either. I really didn't,
obviously
but
we
maybe,
that heavy. But listen, this is what I said. If you know us two brothers, we ain't got no problem acting a fool.
no,
That
none at
comes
all.
that
None at
comes natural.
all.
So, it's good to see you, my brother. I'm back from a little short vacation. Got a chance
Okay.
to rejuvenate for a little while, disconnect for a little while, and I'm back. Ready to do some things and make things happen, brother. How you been?
Man, I have been well. Of course, I also have people that speak to me about this podcast and tell me how they enjoy that we tackle the issues of mental health and mental health awareness, and we let people know it's okay not to be okay,
To be
and
okay,
and that they actually have somebody that they can talk to and they can go to when they have mental health issues or issues that need counseling, issues that they need to speak to somebody about, because the statistics speak for themselves.
right.
Suicide is just entirely too high when it comes to black and brown folks.
In our community,
And
that's right.
right. And us seeking out counseling, instead of us saying that, look, I can handle this issue on my own, or I can tackle this issue on my own,
Or I'm
is
weak
entirely too
because
high
I'm not all
also.
right. That's the one that gets me. I'm
Right,
weak because I'm not okay.
right,
Oh, okay.
right. So we're we have started doing this a long time ago. We've actually been doing this for some years, and we
Almost 2 years.
tried to stay in front of the issues and speak to folks and let them know that, a, you do have someone you can go to be exact. Let me put this up there right now while we're at it. Positivechoicescounseling.org. If you need to talk to someone, if you need to have a conversation, if you yourself are dealing with something that you need counseling or mental health services, it's okay not to be okay, because your mental health matters. As we always say, a healthy you
Is a
is a
better
better
you.
you.
That's right.
All
You
right,
know,
it's time for
it,
my brother.
it's interesting because when people say that, well, maybe you're a little too heavy, and when we talk about mental health and your mental health matters, and you know you being the best you that you can possibly be, one of the things that I think we would be remiss by not explaining people is that 9 out of 10 times when people talk about mental health, they take a reactive approach, which basically means something has happened. Someone's already going through something. When we sat down and talked about this podcast and the purpose, because I talked today at Alcorn, and I said that everything should have a purpose. Our purpose was to be proactive, to take
Correct.
a approach that you can have the skills and you can have the things in place just in case something happens. We don't always have to take a reactive approach to mental health. Being proactive is just as effective. As a matter of fact, that's how we should be. We should all have the coping skills, but we're also here if you don't. If things happen that's a little bit overwhelming, and it puts you in a position where you feel you could benefit from talking to someone, we're here for that too. But we also want to empower people, educate people, encourage people so that they can have the skills necessary when these things do come up. I always tell people I haven't had that person come into my office yet and say, well, I'm here for counseling because everything in my life is wonderful. I've been doing this over 33 years. I've never had that one happen yet. I'm just here because things in my life is just so fantastic.
I just really just wanted to talk to you.
Yeah, I just want to check on you. See how you do. I haven't yet had that client.
Right. I just wanted to talk to you.
Yeah, just let you know how wonderful things are in my life. So until that day, we're gonna be here to make sure we have people know that you have a support system. You have somewhere to go, someone to talk to, someone that will listen. Because one of the things that people don't understand about the therapeutic process, if you haven't gone through it, is the sense of support that you get when you can get with someone and they kind of understand. And if they don't understand, they're willing to understand what you're going through.
Right.
When you meet that person, or you make that connection or build that rapport with a person, it's the most relieving. It's like that big exhale at the end of a day when you finally get home and I call it the best 30 seconds of the day, and you lay in your bed and it's just like to have someone that is willing to go through this and talk to you about whatever it is that's troubling you is a relieving feeling. It's a sense of support that we can't even describe. So as we start to not be as heavy as people say we are, it would not be within our mission to not let people know if life does become heavy, you got somewhere to call.
Right. You got someone you can. Right. You got someone you can talk to. Speaking about on a lighter hearted tip, football season is now back in full effect.
This Saturday on the Bluff.
Hold on. And let me take time out and do this. Because of the continuous rain that has came down, especially in Jackson, Mississippi, our prayers do go out to our brothers and sisters in Jackson, Mississippi, who are dealing with some major infrastructure issues, dealing with their waterworks and the quality of their water now, and the quality of their water. So, I know personally, I have friends in Jackson, Mississippi that I deal with through media that I've had the opportunity to talk to. Big ups to all my friends and family that work in media in Jackson, Mississippi, especially my girl, Shelly B, over there at WJMI 99 Jams. Her and Christiana, much love to them. Listen, family, if you know a way to get water, or you are trying to get water to people in Jackson, Mississippi, or somebody who goes to Jackson State, definitely listen, do what you can to help out because they are in dire need. And we all sometimes need a little help from our friends. Yes, I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
So football is back in full effect. The SWAC MEAC Challenge had Alabama State against Howard U. And we started the season off in the right way in the SWAC with a win. Alabama State beat Howard. And I think it's going to be a great football season. Football is back on the Bluff at Southern University this year. We got some great teams. We got Alcorn. We've got Jackson State. Seems to be Alabama State looks pretty good. Even though FAMU lost against North Carolina, FAMU looked very good. I'm expecting big things out of Southern University.
And they did not have the number of players that they expected to have due to, some issues. But they actually were able to put together a team that competed. And when you can put together a makeshift team and compete, that ought to tell you what kind of talent you have.
Look, when you put 24 points up on North Carolina, on a team in the ACC, and you are a SWAC team, you SWAC other SWAC teams better pay attention. So we'll find out this weekend because, of course, one of the biggest games in the SWAC this weekend will be Sunday down in Miami as Jackson State, D.I. Love take on the FAMU Rattlers. And no matter where you stand in this thing, a lot of people say everybody it's Jackson against everybody because nobody likes Jackson because last year Jackson beat everybody. Everybody but South Carolina State when we needed them to beat South Carolina State in the national championship
game. In the championship, right. I look forward to this year because with the restructuring of the SWAC, you no longer have Alcorn in the East playing Southern or Grambling in the West. Now, Alcorn are our brothers of the West. And now, like you say, it's Jackson State in the East. But when you look at the powerhouse of the West, you got Southern, who, by the way, is predicted to win the West. You have Grambling, who is now led by a former NFL head coach.
Right.
You got Alcorn, who always puts together a contender.
Yeah, those McNairs, those famous McNairs are famous for a reason.
Right. So if you look, there could be 3 possible contenders. And by all means, don't let me, take lightly, Arkansas Pine Bluff and TSU and Jackson State and any other school in the SWAC.
Right. Hold it. And you got to understand, let's just look at the SWAC. Let's start off in the East. At any given day, Texas Southern and Prairie View can be some real contenders.
They contend
in Texas.
Yes.
When you look at Arkansas Pine Bluff Pine Bluff has been known to give people the blues.
That's right.
In Louisiana, of course,
you got a couple of years ago.
Right. Hey, in Louisiana, you got 2 powerhouse teams.
Yep.
You got Grambling State and you got Southern University. Decades of winners. Yes. Multiple big time people who went from those schools to the NFL and are continuing to perform on a high level. When you go to the state of Mississippi, don't count out the home of Rice-A-Roni, that San Francisco tree.
That's Valley.
It comes down to Valley, right? So you have Valley and you got J-State and you got Alcorn. You got 3 powerhouse teams in the state of Mississippi.
And
jump over to Alabama.
Yep. A&M and State.
Right.
And let's not turn our back on the newest kids on the block, these
in Florida,
former MEAC trash talkers that then came into the SWAC and called themselves getting ready to dominate. FAMU and Bethune-Cookman.
And Bethune-Cookman. Because you got to understand, there is a lot of talent in the SWAC, and HBCU football is at an all-time high. Black college football is at an all-time high. And I see, before it's all said and done, a actual super conference where the SWAC and the MEAC literally joins hands with each other and make a super conference. So, no matter who you with, and no matter who your team is, I promise you're going to have a lot of great football. Even when you leave out of college and you move into the pros, a lot of great things are happening. This year, one of the biggest games in HBCU football, in my opinion, will be when the Southern University takes on LSU at LSU, which will be very soon, almost less than 2 weeks. It's actually going to be on the 10th of September. So, okay. So how you saying you're talking football? How does football and mental health? Some of you, when your team ain't good,
you ain't good. Let me tell you something. Now, since you weren't going to throw that out there, I like my pastor say, I ain't talking about nobody on this, but see me, here's my thing. When look, my brother, when the Jags play and the Saints play, if the Saints lose, I'll watch football the rest of the week because I don't want to keep seeing that replay all week long. I don't watch them. If the Saints win on Sunday, I watch football the rest of the week. But if they don't, I don't watch football till the next week because I don't want to be reminded of what happened. So we start talking about mental health and how mental health actually impacts us. Sports is one of those things that can change your mood like that. Either way, one way or the other. 2 hours inside the Mercedes the Caesars Superdome now.
Yeah, the Caesar
will change
Palace.
your life. It will change your life. We had the opportunity about 2 years ago to go to a Saints game, and they were playing the Texans.
Mhm.
And we were with two people from Houston, and they had their Texas gear on. And by the end of the game, by the way, we won. By the end of the game, when they left, they said, we've been season ticket holders for the Texans for a long time. And we have never had that much fun at a football game. He said the way y'all talk trash and we laugh and we have fun together. He said the Texas people ain't like that. And they still to this day talk about the fun we had at that game. So college football, sports in general, is an outlet. It's a vent. It's a way for us to release and get away from the troubles in our life sometimes.
Okay, so hold tight. A friend of mine just sent me a message, and they're watching the podcast, and they said, bring this up. Now, I'm going to say this in my Batman Joker voice.
Okay.
When it comes down to sports, family, some of y'all, why so serious? And when I say that, here's how I want to tie in the mental health component.
Mm-hmm.
There are football games. There have been football games that have occurred within the last 30 days where people have broke out into fights.
Mm-hmm.
Individuals have had arguments and shot individuals who winded up subsequently passing away. Come on, family. It's just the game.
Yeah.
We really have to learn how to, in the midst of competition and in the midst of the heat of battle, understand it's not that serious.
Yeah.
It's not. You know, when you're at a kids football game and the argument is so big between you and the opposing team or the referees that it breaks out into violence, Houston, we have a problem.
We have a problem. You know, we cannot communicate our displeasure without violence and without aggression. Therein lies the problem.
Come on.
If you tell me you don't like what I said, I believe you. It's not necessary for blows to come. But here's the thing. Some people have poor communication skills. And the only way they know how to communicate their feelings is through physical actions. I know people, they may not hit you, but they will break up anything that's in the room. They will throw glasses, they will tear down pictures, they will destroy something. It has to become physical. That is when you are not competent in your ability to articulate how you feel. And here's the interesting thing. Let's just be real, and I'm gonna do a quick presentation that I do with children. Words are words. Disrespect is something you determine. Give you a perfect example. We're on this podcast. Everybody's heard the word bitch.
Correct.
So if I remember the first time I realized, I was in my early 20s. And, you know, before that, the word bitch had power because it was a detrimental term. It was terrible. You know, if someone stood up in the cafeteria and said bitch, the word wasn't what had power. It was the reaction. Ooh, somebody said, if you stood up in the chair and yelled watermelon, nobody's going to respond. You know what I mean? Everybody's going to look at you and say, what? But if you stand up talking about bitch, who they talking to? First thing, they ain't talking to nobody. Because what is a bitch? It's a term for a female. Now, here's the term when I learned truly, and the word was transformed for me about 20 years ago. I'm talking to a guy, and he said, man, I'm a breeder, you know. He said, and I had an argument with this lady. She wants to breed her bitch with my stud, and I heard the pedigree of the dog is just not this and that. He said, shit, because we will sell some dogs and we can get $10,000 a piece for a good litter, even if it's 2 or 3 bitches in the litter. Now, you may have heard 2 or 3 bitches. You know what I heard? $10,000 for a dog? That's what I heard. So it in their realm, he talks about a pedigree of bitches, meaning these dogs, if they breed, can bring about astronomical amounts of money.
Right.
Do you think when he is in his circle and he uses the term bitch, anybody go, ooh, you called a bitch, ooh, you said bitch? They're talking about how much money we're gonna make.
Right.
But here we are out in public and we want to fight because someone called you something technically that you're not. Now, we can go all the way down the line. A hoe, what's a hoe? You know, a garden tool and all that kind. Here's my thing. I remember I just saw my brother just chime in a little while ago. As we were coming up, I saw the neighborhood changing when it got to the point where people would call your names and say, and this is what changed the game. Say what you want, long as you don't put your hands on me.
Right. Right.
So now, if the guy look at you and say, oh, you a bitch, you know what everybody say? No, you don't want to fight. Right. You still talking. But these days, oh, that's disrespectful. What's disrespectful? I determined what's disrespectful, not you.
Correct. Correct.
And in him calling me a bitch or a name of something, I don't like it. But do I want to kill him for it?
Right.
That's the thing.
Was it so egregious? I love
Southern University. If you look at my office, I got Southern stuff everywhere. But do I want to kill you because you don't like Southern?
Right. That part.
You know what I mean? Or if the team that's playing Southern wins and you like that team, I want to kill you. First of all, I don't own Southern University.
Correct.
I don't own New Orleans Saints.
Correct.
None of us are making money, but we're willing to kill one another because of a game? You're right. Houston, we have a problem. We are at the point now where our inability to communicate. I remember, this was about 7 years ago. I'm walking into the stadium. Southern is playing, and I'm teaching at Alcorn at this time. I'm walking into the stadium, and there's this older man. And when I say older, he could have been 80, maybe. And he's walking into the stadium. And anybody that knows anything about the Jaguar Nation, we travel deep wherever we go.
Right. Right.
We bring in 10,000 people easy.
Right.
Well, if you know anything about the reservation, I'm sorry, Alcorn needs a bigger stadium.
Okay.
It's just, especially the visitor side. Well, the whole stadium looked like A.W. Mumford. So as we're walking in, the older guy says, I hate when y'all come up here. I hate when Southern come here because they take over your stadium. And I made the comment, I said, well, where you want to play? I'm sure the Jag will play you in the parking lot if you want. Oh, right. My God. He was upset. Well, you can go on back to Baton Rouge. I said, well, actually, I live in Natchez and I teach up here. Well, how you teach up here and you got that Southern stuff on? I said, you know what?
That's the school I attended.
Yeah, I said, I think you're a little too serious about all of this. I was just kidding. I said, if you're that angry and the game hadn't even started, God forbid we win.
Right. At that part.
Point, he was so angry that he wanted to argue. Now, I've talked so much trash to where people got mad at me because, that's just what you do. But I've also had people talk so much trash to me that I say, okay, you got me because we getting our brains beat out right now.
Right.
But we have people that do not have those communication skills.
Correct.
And at least they lash out in violence. That's correct. There's no place for that because believe it or not, these are students. And what are we teaching them by fighting and shooting in the stands?
Correct. What are you
teaching?
What example
what are you showing?
Are you setting? Mm-hmm. Many of times we have to let folks know and let me jump myself in here on the camera so you can listen. Many times we are the standard. We set the standard, not to be in a pun right now, because that is one of the slogans of the Southern University right now, the standard. But if you are the standard, understand those who watch you will try to mimic you. Imitate. And you have to sometimes ask yourself, what am I putting out there that people might imitate or they may try to duplicate? And be about doing what's good. Guess what? Everybody loves a winner. Everybody loves a winner. However, there is a cost for everything you do.
Yes,
sir. And winning necessarily in college football or anything in life doesn't show up the day that you do your presentation. Winning actually happens all those nights and days that people don't see when you were in preparation. So a lot of folks don't. Yes, you know, I tell a lot of folks, right, you know, all the time, you know, people tell me blah, 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 blah. I'm the type brother who wants to see everybody win. But I do understand this. Everybody can't do what I do.
Nope.
And at the same time, there are a lot of folks that do better than I do, more than I do. And I'm happy for those folks. We all have an assignment and we need to play our position. Because if you play your position to perfection, you'll at least say that what I bring to the table is an attitude of you can depend on me to get done what needs to get done.
My thing is, we have to get to the point where you realize it's all a game. It's for entertainment purposes. And even though we don't want to realize it or look at it, these are college students, high school students, junior high students that we're supposed to be teaching them something through the institution of sports.
Right.
It's not you just running out here smashing. These kids' feelings are hurt when they don't win.
Right.
When they lose, we teach them how to cope with disappointment. We're coming up short in life. I've been one. Let's really look at, and we may be turning the corner on this one. I'm not in this participation trophy generation. I don't believe in that. The team that's 10-0 should not get the same trophy that the team that's 0-10 get. Well, we don't want them all to feel bad. Well, they got to learn. Life gives you disappointments, and you have to have coping skills. But when you as parents are fighting and shooting, you really need to take a look at what message you're sending. Here's something that I always want to share with my trash talkers. Are you able to talk trash without swearing? Because if you've ever been in a HBCU football game, it is a mixture of generations unlike anything you'll ever see.
Correct.
You could be sitting with some 30-year alumni, some 20-year alumni, 10-year alumni, and people who just graduated 2 or 3 years ago.
Correct.
You can't or should not be out there with the flipping and flapping and the flipping in front of these elders.
Correct.
God told me
because you wouldn't want nobody to do that in front of your mama, your mama, your grandmama. Come on.
Exactly. I had a guy tell me, he said, you know, Brother Brown, nobody talk trash like you. I said, that's not true. Man, you don't cuss and you don't, but you be saying some funny stuff. I said, well, we were at Bayou Classic many years ago, me and my friend Derek Carson, and they had some young guys in front of us from Grambling, and we was talking trash because the Jags was beating them, right? And he turned around and he decided he wanted to cuss us out. Yeah, you MFers, y'all probably ain't even go to Southern. And my boy Derek said, son, look around just with the 4 of us in this little area right here. It's 8 degrees. Just with us, it's 8 degrees right here. He said, now you mad because Grambling lost. But here's the interesting thing. You in the stands. You're not even on the field.
Right.
You're not a player. We're fans. I love the Saints. I love the Pelicans. Anything having to do with New Orleans, I'm a native. But I'm not going to shoot somebody because the Pelicans lost.
Come on.
Therein lies a problem within you. If that is
Right.
how serious you take this to where you want to hurt another human being.
Right.
Now,
right. That's
we
real
can go
talk.
even with the fraternity, with our fraternity.
Right.
I remember when I was on Southern's campus, the Kappas and the Omegas had a fight around the Alphas. You know, no, they swinging canes and dog collars. And I remember one of my boys said, "Man, you gonna get us?" I said, "They ain't got nothing to do with us.
Hey,
That ain't got nothing to do with me."
hold on, sir. Excuse
Yeah.
me, sir. And see,
Mm-hmm.
and listen, you're making a valid point that folks
Mm-hmm.
really need to get on this mental health
Yes.
tip. Sometimes you have to ask yourself the simple question: what does this have to do
With
with
me.
me?
Yeah.
See, many a times, let hold it. I'm glad you went there. Family, we gonna go somewhere right now. A lot of you, I teach a class, and I taught it on Tuesday, and I have to teach it tomorrow. And I tell people, remember these three initials: F as in Fred, F as in Fred, and H as in hotel. And people say, FFH, what that mean? I say facts, feelings, and hearsay.
Mm-hmm.
If you stick to the facts, stay out your feelings, and don't listen to hearsay, 90% of the stuff you deal with that is problematic won't be a problem. But see, here's the problem. And when I put it on the board, I always put that feelings in the middle. I said, see, facts and hearsay are always connected to somebody's feelings. And when you get in your feelings, you negate the facts, and many a times you lean your ear to too much hearsay.
Correct.
You got to really put yourself in the place where you say the following: what does this really have to do with me?
Yeah.
And make it about yourself and start with self. Guess what? I can't fix my street. I can't fix my community. I can't fix my city, my state. I cannot fix my country until first I get everything right with who?
Myself. My house has to be in order. You know, one of the things, like you said, we have to look at from we talking sports to just downright how we carry ourselves. And how and what we do to better. Now, Monique, the comedian, made a comment last year about sisters wearing bonnets in public. And when I tell you, social media and the news people and everybody went plumb crazy. Who's she telling me how to dress and how to look and how I can wear whatever I want? I took my time out to talk to my students about that because that's how they come to class. They come to class with however they get up, however they wake up. And this is what I said. I said, you have to know your history. I said, how many of you have seen Harlem Nights, the movie? Very few of them at this stage have seen it. But the few that did, I said, did you notice how they went out to the club? Very elegantly dressed. I said, when I was in school at Southern University, we did not go to class looking any kind of way. You put on something decent to go to class, even if you lived on campus. Now we are at a point now where you can't tell me what to do. I'm not telling you what to do. What I'm telling you is have some standards about yourself. And when you tell someone that, they get angry. Well, just because my standards are your standards. No, but what are your standards? And I have to deal with this, and I'm gonna throw something out there that like you said, we're gonna go there for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
These folks who I'm free and I don't conform and I don't conform and fit in nobody's box, that is not an excuse to be trifling.
Right.
We use that as an excuse to be trifling. And that's just, we got to stop that.
Right. Here's what we got to stop doing. We really got to stop making excuses. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Mm-hmm. I tell people, accountability and responsibility are two words that seem to be non and void in our culture. No. We quick to point fingers, but we ain't quick to do self-correction. And here's the thing. When you point one finger, I see that there's three fingers pointing back. Hold up.
That's right.
You need to hold it. Check yourself. Make sure your house is in order. Play your position. That's the problem. We got too many folks. Look, I ain't built to play the center. So why would I be at center? Or better yet, why would I want to critique the center or tell the center how to do his job? No, I need to play my position, know what job is my job, and try to perfect that to the best of my ability to be the best I can be at my position. I don't need to be all in everybody else's position.
It's just, we don't like to be told anything. We don't like for people to interject their opinion, their ideas, and their thoughts. However, if the criticism is not maliciously intended, why not take it as constructive criticism?
Correct.
I tell people all the time, ask me, I'm going to tell you the truth. But if you don't want to hear the truth, then don't ask me.
Right.
Because don't ask me how does something look on you if you don't really want me to tell you. I believe that we are at a point now where we have thrown any type of standards, any type of etiquette out the window. We have brothers who don't respect the women. We have women who don't respect themselves.
Right.
We have brothers who don't respect themselves. At some point, you have to have the inclination. You have to have the character to be able to communicate and receive communication from people. Now, when Monique said bonnets were not meant to be worn in the street, that is what you wear on your head when you're sleeping. But we've got to the point now where we wear them in the supermarket. We got women wearing them in church. We got, my thing is that was not the point. So here we are raging on this woman. I always ask my students, I've had a couple of students, I'm like, yo, fellas, stay after class because I need to talk to her. And I don't want to talk to her because she's half naked. You can't come to my class naked. You got to put something on.
Right.
One, I'm up here talking and ain't nobody paying me no attention. They looking at you because you half naked.
Right.
I need you to put some clothes on when you come to class. Well, I woke up and I was going to be late. Well, I'd rather you be late than to come like that.
Right.
But here's the interesting thing. Why are we okay with this type of behavior, the fighting at the games, the wearing inappropriate? Yes, there are things that are inappropriate. Just because you want to don't mean you should. Now, that's the part that stings a little bit. Think about this. If you should be able to wear what you want to wear, then why do surgeons not wear their golf stuff into the emergency or the operating room?
Right.
They put scrubs on.
It's inappropriate. They need the proper equipment and outfit in order to do their job.
Yeah. And here's something else. I just saw we had a comment. Here's something else. Pajamas are to sleep in.
I gotta show that one.
Yeah.
There it is.
Pajamas are to sleep in.
However, my brother,
No.
don't tell it. No, listen. listen, in today's culture, as that's the word, culture.
Okay.
Okay. So let us understand
The
something here.
Harlem Renaissance was our culture too.
Hold on. Let me try to help some younger and some older folks.
Okay.
In my humble opinion, and this is all with mental health in mind,
Mm-hmm.
we have to begin to talk
Yes.
and listen
Yes.
to one another. Listen, there are some young folks who have a lot of vigor,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of energy, and have a lot of good ideas. They need the wisdom and they need the knowledge of some of the mistakes we made so that they don't hit those same potholes. What upsets me many a time about us older brothers and sisters
Mm-hmm.
is that you see a young man or a young woman that you see
Mm-hmm.
have plenty of potential,
Yep.
but because you had to go through some hardships, you don't want to pull them to the side and say, listen, young lady, young sir, I was
Mm-hmm.
much like you, and here's the mistakes I made. These are the
Mm-hmm.
potholes I ran into that almost knocked my alignment of life almost off the frame.
Mm-hmm.
I see you going down this same path I went down. I just like to forewarn you that there is some potholes in this street that you may want to avoid. But instead, I have literally seen people I have grand respect for sit there and I say, well, why didn't you tell so and so that they need to be careful about this, that, these, and the third? They say, oh, I went through it. They need to go through it too.
Well,
And I'm
they'll
like,
learn. They'll learn the way I did. Yeah. Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
That just doesn't, and that bothers me. It
Mm-hmm.
bothers me from not only a quote unquote cultural standpoint, it's something that I've noticed that happens amongst a lot of folk of color, especially when they fall into the category of African Americans in this country. You know, I tell people all the time from my experiences of living in New York, Little Italy, they don't call it Little Italy because it's Little Italy with some Jamaicans, some
Right.
Haitians.
Right.
No, Little Italy is little. They don't let nothing come. The Jewish part of New York is
Mm-hmm.
the Jewish part of New York. I can't even hold it. I don't care how much money I got. I can have. Okay, watch this. I can have Oprah money. You
Mm-hmm.
don't see Oprah setting up no business in Little Italy. You don't see
It is.
Oprah setting up no business where the Jews say this is where us Jews listen, but everybody sets up something in the hood
In the black
except
community. Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Right.
From grocery stores
Right.
to liquor stores, check cashing places, cleaners. I mean, whatever it is, because we are that forgiving and that accepting and that willing to spend our money with anyone. We are one of the few races, even the Hispanic race has gotten together and they're like, we're going to pool our money. And so we're all successful. Vietnamese, Asians. Yes, we are one of the few people who our money and our revenue is still divided because we'll spend it with everyone. But we have to get to the point to acknowledge what you just said, that we have to be willing to talk and transcend generations. If you come and sit in one of my classes, it's one of the most open dialogues because they'll say, you know, Doc, one of the things is that we don't believe y'all know what you're talking about. And I'm like, well, how did we get to the age we are now? Well, things were different. The only thing was different is technology. People still had 2 legs, 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 2 hands. You have to get to the point where you are willing to listen. And right now, we're losing that connection because the art of conversation is dying. Everything is done via the telephone. We have to get to the point where we can tell a young sister, you just can't do that and expect to be respected the way you want to be. You should be respected, but are you respectable?
Right.
That's the thing. Are you respectable? If you out here MFing and you disrespecting your elders and then you can't be respectable. The first thing of respect is to act respectable. So here we are, back to full circle. We talk about these people at these games. How can we cheer for different teams and still be respectable? One, remember it's a game.
Right.
Two, remember it's usually children, if it's not professional, playing in the game.
Correct.
And you have to ask yourself, what are we teaching these children by fighting amongst the parents?
Come on. Real talk.
What? I'm just being honest. What are you teaching your children? I'm talking from a theoretical, from a clinical perspective. And then you want to bring them to me.
Conflict resolution. Right.
Then you want to bring them to me because they have an anger problem. No, they have a parenting problem.
Woo. Uh-oh. Ouch.
That's not an anger problem. That's a parenting problem.
Ouch.
Hey, I'm sorry. I'm really not, but I'm sorry.
Ouch.
We have to start holding people accountable, and we have to look at what we call causality. What is causing this? One of the first things we do from a theoretical perspective is we implement a holistic approach. We look at everything from the child's upbringing at home, from their social interactions, everything. Because all of that has an impact on the behavior. So when your child is out there flick-flacking and flunking, and you sitting there talking, I just don't know where he get that from. You don't? Let me tell you where he get it from. Look in the mirror.
Right. It's hold it.
Now, of course, there's exceptions to every circumstance because people say, "Well, I'm a good parent," and there's a one or two exceptions to the rule.
Hold on. Let's be real about something. Most folk, including present company, because we had to go through the process of learning this. It is easy for you to see the fault in others, but very difficult for most of us to see the faults in ourselves. The sad thing about it is if your children don't succeed, you can find everybody to blame but yourself.
Yep.
If and that's our problem. We need to really start looking at self. And it saddens me because my life didn't get right until I started looking at self, until I started self. And for those of you who are on here who are highly spiritual, religious, or whatever, even the Bible say, the Bible. See, some of y'all just listen to your pastor preach. Some of you need to stop that and start reading your Bible for yourself. In the Bible, it says, God says, I'd rather you check yourself than me check you. I'd rather you figure out what's wrong with you and get yourself right than allowing me to come down with the wrath of God to get your life together. Come on, family. We've got to start really self-evaluating self, get self right, and then not be so judgmental with other folks. That's what killed me when folks say, look, forgive me, pray for me, look out for me. And once they get their forgiveness and their prayers and they get healed, when you need that same thing, oh no, you're guilty as charged. And they need to throw the book at you. Come on, family. We got to wake up.
We are at the point in life where in order to truly understand self, you have to look at the whole picture, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And one of the things that I say, anything about self that you do not like, here's the wonderful thing about the human entity that we are. You can change it. You can grow, you can evolve, you can be the best you can be from one day to the next. But when we start to sit here and we start to justify and we start to make excuses, and we start to allow ourselves to accept mediocrity, then we are never going to continue to be this great race of people that we are. I think that we are at the point now where we have to say, okay, who's responsible for me more than me? Who is responsible for my shortcomings and for my upbringing? I am. We pray, and this is what I always say. And I was listening to talk radio today, and the lady was kind of going off. She made some good points without going off. And she said, we are one of the few races of people who look to God to give us houses, good jobs, and cars. And we pray to God to give us good, but there's atheists out there that have really good jobs. They have really big houses. She said, so it's something else that you must do in addition to praying to God for these things. And that means you got to work hard. You have to have good convictions, good character, good work ethic. I believe that we have accepted mediocrity too long, that is now starting to ooze through our culture, like you said, for the culture. And we're okay with not saying anything about it. We have to hold our young people accountable. I'm real hard on the brothers. You need to be a father to the children.
Right.
Young ladies, you need to be a lady. Gender makes you a woman. Gender doesn't make you a lady.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? You have the right anatomy, you're a woman. Just because you're a woman don't make you a lady. The same way, just because you have the anatomy of a man, it doesn't make you a gentleman.
Right.
We have to hold people accountable on so many levels. And to be able to, if you ever see me slipping, I expect you to say, look here, brother, you need to get it together.
Right. Hold. But wait. Now bookmark that.
Mm-hmm.
I agree completely, but I want to say this, and I'm going to give it back to you.
Mm-hmm.
When you correct your brothers and sisters, do not make a public spectacle of that if you really want to see them change. Learn to pull people to the corner and talk to them in private, because just like some folk do some of this charity work and stuff they do, and they post everything on. So, I don't need to see you giving to the homeless all the time, because that lets me know you're not giving it really to be a blessing to them. You doing it where folks can say, look at what you doing. See, some of us do stuff to say, look at what you doing. Guess what? You don't have to know my name. You don't have to know what I did. Long as I know I did it, and the God that you were talking about earlier knows I did it. Guess what? If he really who we say he is, that's the only person that really we need to be concerned about how they feel about us anyway.
Exactly.
Back to you, brother.
Exactly. So, we have to, criticism and us being, me sharing with you, if the intent is not malicious, why not receive it? I tell people all the time, especially I was on this trip, and baby, when you look at some of our people and these bathing suits the sisters wear and the Speedos that the brothers wear, I'm like, there's a fine line between what they're doing and what I could do. I just would not feel comfortable, because I know my shortcomings and how I look in certain things. But I will defend your right to the end to wear whatever you want to wear.
Correct.
But you cannot be upset at people's response to certain stimuli.
Right.
Sister, if you walking around in all your splendor as the ebony queen that you are, and all your anatomy is hanging out, you cannot be angry if a man looks at you, or a woman for that matter.
Correct.
if you know, it's kind of like you put a sign up and say free strawberries, and then you mad if somebody take a strawberry. If you know you're wearing very revealing clothes, people are gonna look. Now, no, they should not invade your space and touch you, and it's not necessary to say very, ugly things. But you can be angry if they look. I look at some brothers. Some of these dudes, man, I'm more than a piece of meat. But every time we look at you, you got your shirt off, brother. Right. I mean, I'm sorry.
Right.
You got your shirt off every time you come to class. Put your shirt on. At some point, we have to hold ourselves accountable for us. I am the keeper of my flame. And we are at the point now where we want to do what we want and don't want any pushback on it. I have one of the instructors at Alcorn. If he see your phone, listen to what I'm telling you. If he see your phone, he put you out of his class.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Now, for me, I'm different. I'm that instructor where you could be on your phone the whole semester. That day when I'm doing grades, if you 2 points from an A, you know what I'm going to say? Oh, I remember her. She the one stay on her phone my whole class. She got to be.
Right.
See, I'm not going to be all that. Hey, put your phones away. Now, you know you came to class. You paid for this.
Correct.
You paid for this. And to not take advantage. But we do not hold ourselves accountable. So to get back and to start to wrap up, we talked about lighthearted stuff today.
Oh, we're going to get real lighthearted in the end. Keep going.
But what we started talking about was holding self accountable. Being that individual that, is willing to communicate and take communication instead of fighting and cussing and yelling amidst all of these things that were intended for us to have a good time.
Okay, so here's how we're going to end this show tonight. I normally allow Brother Edward J. Brown to close us out, but no, tonight I'm closing us out because I have some questions. I have some questions for my brother.
I like it.
So, football is back.
It is.
So we're going to close on a light tip because on the 27th of August, Howard played Alabama State. The score was 23-13 as Alabama State, the Hornets said, we're going to break this continuous us getting beat by the MEAC. And they did that. Then FAMU played North Carolina. And it was 24-56, but still 24 points being put up by a very, very depleted FAMU team should make everybody in the SWAC raise their eyebrows and say, what's going to happen if these boys get themselves together?
Right.
Tomorrow night, Valley plays, I think it's Tarleton. So who going to win that game, Valley or Tarleton?
We're going Valley.
Okay. We got A&M, Alabama A&M, playing UAB in Birmingham. Who gonna win that one?
I got Pine Bluff.
Well, no, this is Alabama A&M.
A&M against who?
A&M against UAB, University of Alabama at Birmingham.
Yeah. I think I'm taking Alabama.
Okay, I got Valley. I'm with you with Valley. I want to see SWAC win.
Okay.
I believe A&M can, but University of Alabama at Birmingham ain't no joke. So I'm gonna have to go with University of Alabama at Birmingham.
Okay, so
we got Bethune-Cookman, right? We got Bethune-Cookman on Saturday against the University of Miami at Miami.
You mean the Canes?
Who you with?
You mean the Hurricanes? I think I'm gonna take the Canes. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take the Canes.
Right. Now I personally have to take the Canes because, as you know, my daughter is in school at the University of Miami in grad school.
You don't want to be in trouble. with the
Oh
Bay.
no, I'm not gonna get in trouble. I'm not gonna. I rolled when she was at LSU. I rolled with her, and I'm gonna roll with her because she at the Canes. Okay,
I go with
the
Canes.
You got
The
Miles
U.
College.
Well, we go with the U. With the U.
Right, we're going with the U.
Go with
so
the U.
You got Miles College
okay.
playing at Alabama State. Who you with?
I got State.
I got State too.
Yeah, I got State.
You got SF Austin out of Texas playing at Alcorn at the reservation on Saturday. Who you with? Who you with?
I'm gonna go with Austin on this
one. Ooh, I can't believe that. I'm actually going with Alcorn. I believe because listen, no, I mean SF Austin lost one. They 0-1 already. Now they're coming down to the reservation.
Well, who they play? Who they play? Who they play the first game? Did
they play? Hold on. Who did they play? Good question.
I'm gonna go with the Braves. I gotta go with the Braves. I gotta show some loyalty to my employer. I'm gonna go with the Braves. Okay.
They lost to Jacksonville State. SF
I'm gonna go with the Braves.
To Jacksonville State.
Okay. I'll go with the Braves.
Yeah, you gotta stay. Yeah.
I'm gonna go back up there, but I'm gonna go with the Braves.
Okay, these next 3 games are going to be crucial.
Okay.
Texas Southern at Prairie View. Who going to win?
I got Prairie View.
I got Texas Southern.
Okay. We split on that one.
Florida Memorial University at Southern.
Oh, we're going to beat the brakes off them. All right, we're gonna beat the brakes off.
Yeah, I'm Jaguar Nation all day on that.
Yeah, we're going to beat the brakes off them.
Lane College, the Lane College Dragons from Jackson, Tennessee, the first HBCU I attended. Lane College. A lot of people don't know. I started off as a Laneite.
Okay.
At UAPB.
I'm gonna go UAPB.
Yeah, Pine Bluff gonna beat the brakes off of Lane. I'm just Lane College. If I'm correct, Lane is a CI. Listen, SIC, CIC don't stand a chance against the SWAC school.
Yeah.
Now, last but not least,
here we go.
The Grambling State University is playing at Arkansas State.
I know some people down at Arkansas State. One of my former colleagues, Dr. Rejoice or Die.
That's the Wolf.
You know, we're gonna see what Graham got. I'm gonna go with Graham because they SWAC.
I'm going with Graham. Somebody got to get upset. So I'm going with Graham. Last but not least, this is for all the marbles.
I'm gonna go with Graham.
On Sunday, September the 4th.
Okay.
Florida A&M against Jackson State at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Who you with?
Last year, Jackson State won by 1 point.
Yes, sir.
Score was 7-6.
Yes, sir.
Jackson. I'm gonna go with Jackson for one reason and one reason only. Okay, I don't think FAMU got these cats eligible, and they still depleted.
Okay.
But I ain't as confident. They done put up 24 points with their second team on
an ACC school.
On an ACC school.
On a Division I school.
24 points with your backups says a lot, because I tell people that about the NFL. The teams that do the best are the teams that have the best backups, because you're going to deal with injuries.
Right.
Buffalo made it the way they made it in the AFC last year because they had the best backups.
Yes, sir.
So that's why preseason is important for me. So anyway, if FAM had all of their players, I would go with FAM. But since they depleted, I'm gonna go with Jackson State. But I still think it's gonna be a close game.
Okay, now some folks will rewatch this, and of course, they will probably reach out to Coach Prime and tell Coach Prime, your boy Joe Dupree hating on you. You know, he ain't very happy after what happened on the Bluff last year. All that may be true, minus the hating, because I really don't hate Coach Prime. I think Coach Prime is one of the best things that have happened
to the SWAC. I agree.
In a long time.
He used his notoriety to bring light to what we needed.
I do not believe he's the rebirth of Eddie Robinson. However, he doesn't have to be. I believe he is very comfortable in his skin doing what he does to bring what he needs to bring to Jackson, which is a lot of notoriety, a lot of resources, and a lot of money. And for that, I applaud him. However, I cannot root for him against FAMU this year because I just got a feeling that there are some games that he's not going to do what he did last year and go undefeated. And
he ain't surprising nobody this year.
And I believe this game may be the start of some folks in Jackson going, see, here's what I want to see. Y'all talk that noise when y'all got a winning season. Right. Y'all show up when y'all got a winning season. I want to see what happens when a couple of L's go into the category. When you still struggling. Show up at the horseshoe. And if you do,
because the L's he took last year was in the money games. It wasn't in the SWAC games. It was in that money game he took that L.
Oh, right.
And they claimed they should have won that game.
Hold it. He won every game. He went undefeated until he made it to the Celebration Bowl. But when he got to the Celebration Bowl, he found out what I tell everybody you got to know when you come to real football situations. I believe Coach Prime is a great coach. I just think he's still a neophyte as a coach. Mm-hmm. And he went up against a guy who Eddie Robinson even said, this dude right here, he got potential. See, watch this. Eddie gone. There's a lot of great coaches that are gone. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you just get out coached. It ain't that they got a better team than you. You just get out coached. And that's what happened. They sit there and they studied the weakness of Jackson State, which I think a lot of folks are going into Jackson like they should go into Jackson, understanding these are the defending SWAC champions, and they were undefeated last year. And he has went out there and recruited some great players. And you got to go in that game with your mind on, this is Jackson State, quote unquote, the beast. And you're going to have to play them as if you know these guys here have the capability of beating the brakes off of us because they have the talent, they have the belief, and they have proven last year that they can go undefeated. So you got to walk in that game saying, look, I can't walk in here with a kiki. This is a SWAC team. You got to walk in there saying, look, I'm coming in here to play.
Well, last year, he loaded up on a lot of these players and they took the SWAC by storm. But what he did was he made a lot of these players say, well, I'm not going to go to Jackson State. I'm going to go to a school that Jackson State going to play so I can shine. A lot of these HBCUs and got a lot of these transfers from these division schools. And now they're loaded too because the Jags are loaded. I'm letting you know. The Jags are loaded. Graham is loaded.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Graham is loaded. So now we're looking at these players leaving the Iowas and the Arkansas and the Georgia and these schools and coming to HBCUs to now play against Prime. So now what you got to realize.
So watch this. And he ain't got a free walk in his division because the quarterback at Alabama State was the quarterback at Auburn. So don't think for 1 minute just because your son did what he did last year, there ain't some folk out there that got some people who can also meet your players pound for pound, round for round, position for position. So all I can say is, family, it's football. And with that, we will see y'all next Wednesday. And
we'll check our scores and see how me and Brother Dupree, we're going to have to make a bet at the end of the season because we're going to do these every week. And I think we split on one, right?
Yeah, we split on Jackson State. And who did you choose between Prairie View and we're going to do this officially. I'm going to send you something. You're going to mark down who you want. I'm going to mark down who I want.
And we're going
to post these things. So look, I'm about to put that P on him, that pressure. He thinks this P stands for something else. I'm about to put that pressure on him. Here we go. With that being said, family, listen, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for all the love. Go ahead. I am gonna let you close us out. Close us out.
You know what I always say, and if you haven't heard it today and nobody told you, we love y'all. Peace.